Imagine you're standing in a desert. No buildings, no roads, no electricity. Just sand, heat, and a small number of fishing boats on the water. A few thousand people living simple, quiet lives. Nobody famous, nobody powerful. Nobody in the rest of the world paying any attention. That was Dubai. Not hundreds of years ago, not in ancient history, in 1950, just 75 years ago. Today, Dubai has the tallest building in the world. It has an indoor ski slope inside a shopping mall, in a place where the temperature outside hits 45 degrees. It has artificial islands built in the shape of a palm tree, visible from space. It receives more tourists every year than the entire population of some countries. How does that happen? How does a fishing village in the desert become one of the most famous cities on the planet in one human lifetime? That's what we're going to understand today, from the beginning. And I'll make sure everything makes sense as we go, because this story has some parts that confuse a lot of people, and we're going to clear all of that up. First, let's talk about where Dubai actually is, because a lot of people are confused about this, and it matters. Dubai is a city, but it's also more than a city. It's one part of a country called the United Arab Emirates, the UAE. You've probably heard both names. And many people think Dubai and UAE are the same thing. It's an easy mistake. Dubai is by far the most famous part of the UAE. So when people say Dubai, they often mean the whole country. But the UAE is actually made up of 7 separate emirates. Think of an emirate like a region or a state, similar to how the United States has 50 states. The UAE has 7 emirates. Each one has its own local ruler, but they all work together as one country. The 7 emirates are Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quwain, Ras Al Khaimah, and Fujairah. Now, the capital of the UAE is not Dubai. This surprises many people. The capital is actually Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is the largest emirate by land. It holds most of the country's oil, and it's the political center of the UAE. But Dubai is the most internationally famous, the most visited, and the most business-focused. So in people's minds around the world, Dubai became the face of the entire country. Think of it this way. If someone says Hollywood, you probably think of America. Even though Hollywood is just one neighborhood in one city in one state, Dubai is similar. It became so big and so famous that it represents the whole country in most people's minds. Okay, now that we have that clear, let's get into the real story. The UAE sits in a region called the Arabian Peninsula. In the Middle East, it borders Saudi Arabia and Oman, and it sits right on the coast of the Persian Gulf. The weather is extremely hot. Summers regularly go above 40 degrees Celsius, which is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Desert as far as you can see in most directions. For most of its history, the people living in this region survived through fishing, pearl diving, and small-scale trading with passing ships. It wasn't an easy life. There wasn't much money. The rest of the world had no particular reason to pay attention to this stretch of desert coastline. Then came oil. In the late 1950s and through the 1960s, oil was discovered across the region. And this changed everything, but not equally for everyone. Abu Dhabi, the largest emirate, remember, turned out to be sitting on one of the biggest oil reserves in the entire world. Enormous amounts of oil, deep under the desert. Suddenly, Abu Dhabi went from being a quiet region to being extraordinarily wealthy almost overnight. The money that came in from selling oil to the rest of the world was staggering. Dubai also found oil. But Dubai's oil reserves were much, much smaller than Abu Dhabi's, not even close to the same level. Dubai had some oil income coming in from the 1960s onward, and it was useful money, important money. But the leaders of Dubai knew something uncomfortable. This won't last long. The oil will run out. And when it does, what are we left with? Most governments, when they find oil, spend the money. They pay for salaries, for government services, for keeping people comfortable right now. Very few stop and ask the harder question: what happens when the oil is gone? Dubai asked that question early, and the answer they came up with changed the direction of the entire city. The man behind modern Dubai was Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum. He became the ruler of Dubai in 1958, and he had a vision that was almost impossible to imagine at the time. He looked at Dubai, the sand, the coast, the small harbor, and he saw a trading city, a place where ships would come, where goods would move in and out, where business people from all over the world would want to be. But to make that happen, he had to build. And building costs money that Dubai didn't fully have yet. Sheikh Rashid did something bold. He borrowed money, took loans, and used that money to invest in infrastructure. That word, infrastructure, just means the basic physical things a city needs to function. Roads, ports, airports, electricity, water. His first big move was the creek. Dubai had a natural harbor, a stretch of water called the creek that cut through the city, and trading ships had been using it for years. But it was getting too shallow. Bigger ships couldn't come in anymore. Business was suffering. Sheikh Rashid borrowed money and dredged the creek. Dredging means digging out the bottom of the water to make it deeper. It worked. Bigger ships could come. More trade happened. The investment paid off. That was the pattern. Invest now. Build now. The business will follow. Then came something even bigger. In the late 1970s, Dubai built a port called Jebel Ali. Not just a regular port, one of the largest man-made ports ever constructed in the world at that time. Enormous. Built essentially from scratch on the coastline. When it was being built, many people said it was too big, crazy. Dubai didn't have anywhere near enough trade to fill a port that large. It seemed like a waste of money. But the thinking behind it was different. The idea was, build it big, make it the best, make it the most capable, and the trade will come to fill it. You don't build for the business you have today. You build for the business you want tomorrow. Today, Jebel Ali Port is one of the busiest ports on earth. Goods from Asia going to Europe pass through it. Products from Africa going to America pass through it. It handles cargo from almost every direction because it's positioned perfectly, geographically, right in the middle of major global trade routes. Which brings us to something very important: location. Look at a map of the world. Dubai sits almost exactly in the middle between Europe, Asia, and Africa. If you draw a line from London to Mumbai, those two major cities, Dubai is almost exactly halfway. If you're flying from Nairobi in Africa to Beijing in China, Dubai is right there in the middle again. This geographic position is something you can't manufacture. You can't move a country. And Dubai sits at one of the most naturally convenient crossroads on the planet for international travel and trade. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Sheikh Rashid's son, who took over and really pushed Dubai's growth into high speed, understood this deeply. He looked at Dubai's position on the map and saw an opportunity that smart use of money could turn into something extraordinary. So he built an airline. Emirates Airline started in 1985. It began with just 2 aircraft and a small number of routes. Today, Emirates is one of the biggest and most profitable airlines in the world. It flies to over 150 destinations across 6 continents. Almost every route goes through Dubai, and every time someone flies through Dubai, they see the airport. The airport is huge, modern, and genuinely comfortable, which sounds like a small thing, but it matters because airports are usually miserable. Some of those passengers decide to stop for a few days. Some come back for a holiday. Some come to do business. Some eventually move there. The airport became a magnet, and Dubai positioned itself right at the center of it. Now let's talk about rules and money, because this is one of the biggest reasons Dubai became so attractive to wealthy people and international businesses. Dubai has no income tax. That means if you earn money in Dubai, you keep all of it. The government does not take a percentage of your salary or your business profits. In many countries, the UK, Germany, the US, Australia, the government takes between 30 and 50% of what you earn in taxes. In Dubai, that number is 0. For wealthy individuals, this is a very powerful reason to move. For international companies, it's a very powerful reason to set up an office there. Dubai also created what are called free zones. These are special areas within the city where foreign companies can set up a business very easily, own 100% of that business themselves, without needing a local partner, and move money in and out of the country freely. In many other countries, if a foreign company wants to operate, the law says a local person must own part of the business. Free zones removed that requirement. Suddenly, Dubai became one of the easiest places in the world to start and run an international business. And alongside these financial rules, Dubai built a city that actually works. Fast internet, clean roads, modern hospitals, good international schools where children can be educated in English. Safe streets, efficient systems. For a skilled professional from Europe, America, or Asia, moving to Dubai doesn't feel like a sacrifice. For many people, it feels like an upgrade because their salary goes further, the sun shines almost every day, and the city is designed around making life convenient. Then there's the image. And Dubai understood the power of image better than almost any city in modern history. The leadership had a clear philosophy. If you want the world's best businesses, richest investors, and most talented people to come to you, you have to make them want to come. And people are not just logical, they're emotional. They're attracted to places that feel exciting and impressive. So Dubai started building things the world had never seen before. The Burj Khalifa, still the tallest building in the world today, standing at 828 meters. When it opened in 2010, it was a message sent to every investor and every government on Earth. This city does impossible things. The Palm Jumeirah, an artificial island built by humans from scratch in the ocean in the shape of a palm tree. It created new coastline where there was only water. Hotels, apartments, and villas were built on it. Wealthy people from Russia, Europe, India, and China bought properties there. The real estate market exploded. The Dubai Mall, the largest shopping mall in the world. It has a full-size aquarium inside it, with sharks and rays that you walk past while going to buy shoes. It has an ice skating rink. It has hundreds of restaurants. Over 80 million people visit it every year. That number is not a typo. These projects were not all purely practical. Some of them were about sending a signal, about making the world curious. And it worked. Every time someone posted a photo of the Palm Island from their airplane window, every time a travel magazine put the Burj Khalifa on its cover, every time a tourist went home and said, "You have to see this place," Dubai got more attention, more visitors, more investment, more money. Now, and this part is important, because a complete picture matters, Dubai's story is not without its problems. All of those buildings, all of those islands, all of that construction, it was built by workers who came from poor countries, mostly from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal. These men left their families and came to Dubai for work because the money, even basic wages, was more than they could earn at home. But many of these workers lived in very difficult conditions, shared rooms with many people, extreme heat on construction sites, and a visa system where your legal right to stay in the country was tied to your employer, meaning if you had a problem with your boss, you had very little power to do anything about it. Human rights organizations have written about this for many years. It remains a serious and real issue, even as Dubai continues to build its image as a modern, world-class city. It's a part of the story that deserves to be mentioned, honestly. So, how did Dubai get so rich? Not by accident, not just because of oil. In fact, Dubai's oil was never the main engine. The oil money was the starting fuel, used wisely at the beginning to build the foundations of something bigger. What actually made Dubai rich was a combination of things that all worked together. Smart, long-term thinking from its leaders, who built before the demand existed and trusted that it would come. An unbeatable geographic position, right at the crossroads of the world. Business-friendly rules that made money and companies feel genuinely welcome. An airline that connected Dubai to every corner of the planet. And an image built through ambitious, sometimes jaw-dropping projects that made the entire world curious about the city in the desert. The fishing boats are still there, actually. On the old creek in the historic part of Dubai, traditional wooden boats called dhows still carry goods across the water. Right next to them, glass towers rise into the sky and reflect the sun in every direction. Old boat, new tower, same water. That image is probably the most honest picture of what Dubai actually is. A place that started with almost nothing, made a decision about what it wanted to become, and then built and built and built until the world had no choice but to pay attention. From fishing village to global city in one human lifetime. That doesn't happen by luck. That happens by choice. And that brings us to the end of today's shadowing session. Most people quit because progress feels invisible. They practice for a few days, don't see results, and stop. But fluency doesn't work like that. It grows quietly, in the background, through repetition, patience, and discipline. So if you're still here, that means you're doing something most people won't. You're staying consistent. And that is exactly what creates real change. Keep going. One day, the English that feels difficult today will feel natural, and you'll realize this small daily habit changed everything. If this lesson helped you, a like or subscription means a lot. I'll see you in the next one.